Welcome to the Mike Weatherford Show. Billy, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
What you been up to, brother?
I was just staying busy getting ready for the season coming up, the show season.
Oh, yeah, you fixing to do some more filming.
Oh, yeah, I got a bear hunt and red stag and some more fishing to do.
Oh, man. Hey, guess what we got on the show tonight, man?
I don't know. Who you got?
Well, man, we got some good one going on here tonight. We have got our representative, the 75th District Rep from Henry, Benton, and Stewart County.
Oh, we got the state rep coming in.
State Rep Bruce Griffey is in the house.
He's a good one.
He's a good one, man.
I helped him out a little bit.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Was he drunk or something?
No.
How'd you help him?
Well, I helped do a little handshaking and pass out a few things, T-shirts.
Oh, so you was politicking.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
I don't know why you'd be politicking. I don't understand that. But still, it happens. He's going to be answering some questions tonight about stuff that we have, curiosities up about.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about, the highway, the inn, some bills that he sponsored, and
Bills.
Yeah.
Not Bill, not me. Bill, just
no,
Bill.
No, not Billy.
Okay.
We want to talk about you. Anything you need help with?
There's a lot of things I need help with.
He don't do mental work. We got that Miss Terry for that.
Okay.
Well, why don't we bring him on in here? Look there. I see him. He's in the house. Come on in, Bruce. Welcome, man. How you doing?
Great.
Come on, man.
Billy,
Yeah, glad you could join us.
Get your ears on there where you can hear us. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. How are you?
Breaker.
19. We got Bruce Griffey in the house. What do you think, Billy?
Oh, I'm excited.
I am too, man. How are you doing, Bruce?
Doing good.
Man, I got a bio on you that is so long.
That's a book.
It's a book. It's about 38 pages, and there's small words, and I don't have them. Can I borrow your glasses?
You can if you need them.
I'm just going to give a little bit of quick here, Billy, if you know anything. He graduated from the University of Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi.
Oh, hotty toddy.
There he is.
The Rebels.
Bachelor of Arts in 87 and Juris Doctorate in 1990. He served as the Chief Counsel of the Honor Council, President of the Lamar Society of International Law, and participated as a volunteer in the Income Tax Assistant Program. He's also a lawyer. He is the sole proprietor of Griffey Law Offices. He's worked as a public defender in the Western District of Tennessee. He has worked in the Attorney General's office for the 24th District Task Force, it says here, district. He has worked for some big shots, man. Did you see all that? There's some words on here that says owner and COO. He's been a coup.
Oh.
I don't know what that COO. I think that stands for Chief Operating Officer, but where I come from, we just call them a coup.
They call me a coup.
Call you a coup. Bruce, how have you been, bro?
Doing good. Man, thanks for having me. I appreciate you having me.
Man, I am more than glad to have you on here. What our goal is Billy and I, we're like everybody else. We get our news off social media. And
there's so much fake stuff out there.
That's where you made the mistake.
Well, where else are we going to get it? They all lie to us. It's agenda ridden. And we hear rumors. We hear half-truths.
Sure.
And as my daddy used to say, let's go right to the horse's mouth.
There you go.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, about what I was talking about, if you want to add to that, and tell us about your family and your hobbies, and just loosen up, Bruce, and just tell us everything about you.
Well, I appreciate that, Mike. I grew up here in Paris. I've got 3 brothers. Mom and Dad grew up here. Dad's doctor here in Paris forever.
He was my doctor.
Yeah, and my brother Bo's taking over his medical practice.
He's a doctor too.
Yeah. And then did that. I grew up here. I was a lifeguard. I worked at the factories during the summer with both
So
Tecumseh.
You sweated with the poor folks.
Absolutely.
Even though your pappy was a doctor, you got out. Did you haul hay?
I worked at the carburetor plant.
Did you ever haul hay?
Oh, yes.
You hauled hay?
Yes, I've done that.
I believe he's got some horses, last I
I
remember.
I do.
Go
I've
ahead.
got
I'm
4.
sorry to
I got
interrupt.
4, so done all that. So I know what it is to work for a day's work.
I was trying to get the point across. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
absolutely. So I've done that. Got my wife, Rebecca, and I've got 2 daughters. Rebecca's a prosecutor here in Henry County. I'm doing a defense attorney. We don't do cases in the same court for that reason.
I'm going to come back to that. But tell us about your daughter. One of them is a musician, I believe.
One of them plays violin. She's played with the Murray State Orchestra. She actually went to school up there for a while because they've got a lot of music programs up there, but she came back to Henry County, finished up here, and now she's going to start at UT Martin in the fall.
Music.
No, she's going to do pre-med.
Pre-med.
Yeah.
Another doctor in the house.
Perhaps. So
Perhaps.
It'd be good if she did. It'd be good.
That'd be wonderful, man.
Yeah.
What kind of hobbies do you do when you're not hobnobbing with the rich folks in Nashville?
Well, I've got 2 dogs, a cat, and 4 horses, and a lot of grass to mow. So, my hobbies, when I get a chance to do it, would be golf. But finding time to do golf is kind of tough. So
all that golf land that y'all got, how many holes? 18 holes of what it is. You know how much drag racing and NASCAR racing we could do on an 18-hole golf course?
I have no idea.
No, that's a lot.
Well, I've done some racing out there on a golf course.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. We'd start off about.
We don't
Get the
need to talk
golf
about
cart
that.
racing.
Yeah, we get down to about the 6th hole, and
If we
then
gonna
we
talk
kind
about
of go from there.
If we're going to talk about that, we're going to talk about when you got arrested.
No.
And that's the bring that up.
You need my services, Billy.
I'm not here lately. Julian Gwynn had me retire from that. He made a believer out of
Did you
me.
believe? Are you still believing it?
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah.
He made a true believer out of me.
I hate to wonder like I do, but we're not the media, and Billy and I, neither one of us are journalists. We're just common folk. And you said your wife is a prosecutor, and you are a defense attorney. So, who gets their way on the biscuits at home? You know,
You've been married before, haven't
well,
you?
sure.
Yeah, so who generally got their way at your house?
That's not my question.
That's why he's divorced.
This is called the Mike Weatherford Show. I ask the questions.
So
He's an attorney. That's what he's supposed to do is ask questions.
Rebecca's the cook in the house. So
Okay, so you do as she says.
yeah.
I asked her that, and you better be glad you answered that correctly, because I've got it in writing who runs that household,
Gotcha.
and it is the prosecutor.
Well, I'd have to say she is the better half.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
much so.
a lot better. He married up, did he not?
Yeah, he
Definitely
did.
I don't understand it. It's a mystery, ain't it?
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing about her.
Thank goodness for alcohol.
That's right.
I believe she'd fight you. Once she believes in something, she's going, ain't she?
She is a bulldog.
She doesn't back off.
No,
on
she
stuff.
don't, does she?
No, she does not.
I keep her
I
on
like
my
that
side.
about her.
I've never disagreed with her.
I like that about her. I like somebody's got a
That's a
backbone.
good policy to have.
I've been married, so I don't disagree. Now, getting into your job now, you are the representative for us. Henry County, Benton County, Stewart County.
Yes, sir.
That's a lot of people.
It is. It's about 65,000 folks, all about.
How many people is that? Probably 100,000.
No, it's 65,000. About 65,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they all scattered.
Yes, and we'll get into redistricting later if you want to.
That's one of my questions. But I want to ask you some. Why in the world?
Oh, Lord.
Now listen to me. Your daddy's a doctor, your brother's a doctor, and you got a daughter a doctor, and you got a wife that's a prosecutor. Why in the hell would you want to be a state rep? What would possess a grown man to run for public office?
You know what they say about politics? If you don't get involved, you're going to be led around by fools.
Well, I have to agree with that. Yeah, that could be. What made you?
I pretty much got into politics because of President Trump.
But he wasn't even in office when
He
you
wasn't, but I saw what he was doing. He took a sacrifice from his job and everything he did to serve the country, and I wasn't happy with
What
some
year
of
was you elected the first time?
2018.
He wasn't there yet.
Well, wasn't he 16?
Maybe. What year was it?
I
Billy?
think
You're
he was
the man.
16.
Okay, so maybe
I
Trump.
went in 2 years after him.
So he had already been around. So that was
Yeah,
your,
that's right, because your wife actually was the electoral.
She ran Trump's campaign in West Tennessee. She was on the board of that.
Yeah, see?
That's why she gets her biscuits the way she wants.
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah. But
Trumptastic.
that's right. So you decided out of the blue that you wanted to be our state rep?
I was frustrated with some of the policy choices our former state rep had made, and I said, I think I can do a better job. And so I said, I'll throw my hat in the ring and let's focus on the issues.
Now, did you run as a Republican?
Absolutely.
Now, you run one time and didn't win.
No, I won the first time I ran.
You won the first time you ran.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm wrong. So he was a Republican.
Yes, he was the four-term Republican that I
Fourth
beat
term.
in
Man,
a
that's hard to
primary.
beat.
Yep.
So you beat him in the primary, and you got the nominee.
Correct. And then I
Okay.
went on to get elected in the general.
How did you get the Republicans? We already had a Republican in office, correct? How did you turn those people that was supporting the person that you was? How did you turn him to get him to come to your side? I mean, that's a fair question.
No, it is a fair question, and the reason I chuckle at that is, I'd like to say it was brilliant strategy and all that kind of stuff, but I think it may be a combination of things, Mike. I think a lot of people may have been frustrated with our former state rep.
For what reason?
Well, I think some of his policy decisions, I believe the gas tax was one. They were upset. I think he was voting for in-state tuition for illegals that
So
were here
you're
in
against-
Tennessee.
you was against all
I'm
that.
against both those.
And so you come out and said, if you elect me, I'm not going to support a gas tax, and I'm not going to support illegals getting free tuition in colleges in Tennessee.
Anything. I don't think illegals ought to get anything free in Tennessee, and I've actually sponsored legislation
Amen.
to try to turn up the heat on illegals here. Look,
Amen.
it's like if you ring the dinner bell for everybody freeloader that wants to come in, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to head for the dinner bell. But if that dinner bell's not ringing, are they going to be showing up?
Well, you're right. You're right. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just, I just wondered,
Yeah.
Bruce, you and I are the class of '81,
Yes, we are.
and we've seen a lot of changes.
Would you ever think we were here
No.
today, this point in our country?
No, not in 1981.
I'm just shocked.
I'm truly shocked, and I'm really shocked that as I grew up in Henry County, which I'm a long time Henry County. I was born here, and I'll probably die here. But I was
Probably
born a
so.
Democrat. My father was a Democrat, but I think maybe the party left. I don't know. I tend to vote for the person. And
I told
tend-
them that they left me.
they
I
did.
didn't leave
but,
them.
you're
Well, they
right.
did. I don't think it's even questionable at this point.
You're right, but where I'm getting with this is with that being said, Henry County has turned Republican.
It has.
I don't.
The whole
think,
country's turning Republican. Maybe not the whole country,
No,
but
Tennessee's
gotten a lot
but
more
do you
Republican.
think that that's because of the policies of the Republican Party? Because Bruce, there's a lot
no,
of.
I think it's.
Or
I
you
think
think
it
so?
has more to do with people. The Democrat Party is going off the cliff with
Okay.
their policies,
Okay.
and the average American, the working Americans, the ones that worked at the carburetor plant in Emerson and Tecumseh and all those, that's who we need to be focusing on.
Amen.
I agree.
So-
We all want to focus on, our local people and our families and our local communities, and I'm all for that. I run a local business. I've been self-employed for 35 years. And I feel like I've got the right to when I don't like something, to voice my opinion.
You should.
And I do.
Yep.
But, I think the Democrat Party has one thing that the Republican Party don't have, and that's they stick together.
And I agree with you on that.
And I say this all the time about the Republican Party. They scatter like a bunch of quails, and they don't. And I'm not knocking.
No, that's
them.
a good analogy. It is.
I don't knock y'all. You know that. I don't knock nobody. But I'm just saying, why don't y'all unite? I mean, you got a group of Republicans over here that's making this noise, and you got a group over here making that noise. What's it going to take to get the Republican Party? Because locally, now you might not realize that, or you do realize it.
Well,
You
just
are-
because it's got an R behind it don't mean that they're conservative. And I think that's one thing that's
Look.
happening about the Democratic Party.
Look,
the Democratic Party here was conservative, and when Democrats moved away from that conservative view, they had no other choice.
That's right.
Guys,
what's it going?
I think it all comes down to power and control,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't matter what's behind the name, your end of your name, whether it's a D or an R. People want control, and they want the power. And to me, there's a battle within the Republican Party for control. Is it going to be the corporate, globalist, Wall Street people going to run things? We get the Mitt Romneys and folks like that. Are we going to be the people that are for the working man, like Donald Trump? That's the battle going within the Republican Party right now. And the Democrats, they have lost votes because they've tried to bring all these groups together and please everybody, and they're going off on these social agendas that just most average American folks with families and kids, that stuff is way out of bounds for them. So they're like, look, we're not going to do that. We're going to go with the Republicans. So that's why you're seeing stronger Republican growth.
But you are the leader of the local Republican Party.
Well, I'm the state rep. We've got our chair is Tess Robbins.
I understand that, but you still the highest one locally.
I'm the highest elected official.
So what are you going to do to unite these Republicans?
Well, I keep pushing the policies that I think are going to unite us, and the policies we ought to be pushing. I'm trying to get everybody to stick together, but you lead horses to water, but you can't make them drink.
Have you thought about ideas? And the reason why I'm asking that is we've had some local races where, we have a Republican, and I'll be frank, it's inquisitive to me. I ask questions, and I'm not very well versed on politics. We get Republican nominees that didn't make it.
That's because we had somebody that was a Republican, the former state rep, decide to run as an independent when he couldn't win the nomination at the caucus.
Well, that's
that split the vote, and that's why Carlton Gerald didn't win.
Shouldn't that be the job of the Republicans to unite them?
It absolutely should be, and I think
what happened?
We're actually, it wasn't in the current bylaws, but I think we're going to propose something in the bylaws that if you support somebody or run as an independent while there's a Republican candidate out there, you're going to lose the backing of the Republican Party.
Well, is that
we're trying to get that pushed up to the state level too.
One more question: is that not going to do more to disarray the party than with coming down with a heart? You catch more flies with honey than you will with vinegar?
Well, let me put it to you this: do you want the far left Democrats to be a part of the Republican Party?
I don't think they should be.
Right. So, let me ask you this. Do you think a Democrat who voted for Pete Buttigieg in the presidential primaries should get elected as a Republican to the state of Tennessee House?
I see your point.
So what's happening is we've got a group of Republicans that want sort of the moderate base, and they're trying to bring everybody. But what you're doing is you're undermining the fundamental principles that Republicans believe in when you do that. And if you don't stand up for that, you're not
a Republican.
Right. You kind of you're defeating the purpose.
Well, that's
in my opinion, anyway.
Billy, you seem to be well versed on this. Where are you coming?
Well, what I see, I could be wrong about this, with the Republican Party. It's the group that calls themselves the Never Trumpers. I think that right there has more to do with the Republican Party than anything else, because this is what I don't understand. You got a feller like Trump. Yes, he is from New York. So, my goodness, he's going to say and do things that a lot of people ain't going to like. But he's going to be able to bring people to the Republican Party. He's going to be bringing new people to it. He's going to make it bigger. Seems like he can make it stronger.
He doesn't sugarcoat stuff, does he?
Yeah, that's another thing that I like.
Well, I don't either.
Well, I know.
I just tell it like it is.
That's a good thing about it.
I've had people say, you are the Paris version of Donald Trump. I said, no, Donald Trump is the New York version of Mike Weatherford.
If y'all want to call me Little Trump, I'd be honored.
When you got elected, when you went to Nashville, you didn't walk up there and knock on the door and say, hey, I'm Bruce Griffey. You kicked the damn thing in and run in like a bucking mule. What was all that about?
Well,
that's Trump-tastic.
I was elected to do a job. I was elected to push the policies that I thought we ought to be pushing, and that's why people put me in office. So I'm going to push them.
So you went in like a bucking mule.
Well,
you have to agree.
Some would say that.
I've heard rumors. Did you make any enemies?
Well, I don't see how you can get in politics and not make some enemies from somebody.
I'm not talking about your constituents. I'm talking about in Nashville.
Well,
in the
yeah,
House.
I think there's always the people that look. There's the same battle we have in the Republican Party. You have at the state capitol too. There's a lot of folks that are moderate. They don't want to close primaries, so that only Republicans get to pick Republican candidates. So it's the same battle. It's just up in Nashville versus. So there's people that aren't really fans of my agenda and my positions. I don't know whether they're enemies or not, but they're going to work for their positions rather than mine. So
would you?
That's politics.
After knowing what you know now, the way it happened, when you rode that bucking mule in the china shop, and would you do it different?
No.
So you'd still ride the same mule?
It wouldn't change a thing.
Well,
I just maybe fight harder.
Well, you got to give a man credit.
I like it.
Yeah.
You learn some things just from experience, and knowing now what I did, maybe you might you can spot who's working against you and your bills a lot easier now.
Speaking of that bucking mule, you went in the office up there, and how long you been in there? 4 years?
This is 3 years. I'm getting ready to start my fourth.
And I asked you about making enemies. You said, "Yeah, I think I have made a few."
Sure.
And I can understand that. I think if you went in and knocked on the door and said, "Hi, real sheepish, I'm Bruce Griffey," you still make enemies.
Well, they'll pat you on the head, give you a bottle of water, and go say, "Hey,
Yeah,
we'll let you know when we need your vote."
I guess you made some people mad because didn't you have a little problems with some committee deals there?
Well, Speaker Sexton removed me from my committees.
I want to,
temporarily,
in
so-
detail, tell me what that means, what caused it, and the solution.
Well, the Speaker has the authority to appoint members to committees. He always retains that authority. So I had some legislation that I was trying to push E-Verify for every Tennessee employer in Tennessee. Currently, if you have 50 or more employees, you have to use E-Verify in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. When they originally passed the bill, I believe it was in 2012 or 14, it was supposed to apply to everybody, like after 2 years, this number, and 2 years, that number. But they modified it because I think they felt, this is going to be a burden on small business. Well, the issue is you have to get this same information on your I-9, and the employer has to maintain that anyway. But look, to me, the most effective means of deterring illegal employment from illegals in Tennessee is to use E-Verify. I mean, it's kind of it's a given. So I was trying to push that for all Tennessee employers. The NFIB and the Chamber of Commerce are moving against it. It failed in the committee. There's a procedure under the rules, Rule 53 in the House, that I can bring that motion to the floor and ask everybody on the floor to vote on it. So that's what I was trying to do. We use Mason's rules of parliamentary procedures rather than Robert's Rules of Order, whatever. There's a provision that says when you're bringing that Rule 53, you can't really get into the details of the underlying bill when you're trying to bring it up. But at the same time, how are you going to, but you can't explain what the purpose of the bill is. So I was trying to explain the purpose of the bill based upon what the bill was about and what I wanted the members to vote on as far as E-Verify for all Tennessee employees. I think Speaker Sexton thought I was trying to cut around the rules or something.
So you pissed him off?
Well, I think he might have gotten actually some bad advice from some folks, and
So you pissed him off?
Well, maybe not him so much, maybe some others, but but we sat down and talked, and I'm back on my committees, and actually he's appointed me to a committee to investigate the illegals.
Y'all made up?
Yeah.
You're back friends?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
that's maybe it was.
He may
just-
be running
just-
for governors pretty
Oh,
soon.
okay.
So.
You gonna support him?
Don't know yet.
Okay. Well, that's a hard question to ask.
Has he got a
Depends on
backbone
who
like
else-
you?
Do what?
Does the speaker got a backbone like you?
He does. He does. Look, the speakers, I'll hand him to this. Governor Lee had some of his criminal justice reform measures. I call them soft on crime because all you're doing is just giving out more and more soft benefits for criminals who break the law. And being a former prosecutor, I find that offensive. And I think it may work for a couple of folks that are in there, but for the large majority of folks, just giving them benefits without working for it and proving they need it is counterproductive. And so Speaker Sexton actually, he passed some legislation and proposed that you're going to serve 100% of your sentence when you commit violent offenses against women and children. So I was really proud.
100%?
100%. You get, I think you get 15% off of your good times when you're in the prison, but you're going to be serving pretty much 100% of your sentence because we've got a screwed up
that'd
sentence.
even be more than Fed time, wouldn't it? Because Fed time's 85.
So it'd be the same as a Fed, 15% off your sentence.
Moving back to you and being nice, you made them mad. They didn't like you. How come the state highways in Henry County? And I'm gonna give you a good example, Bruce. And if it's something on your end, tell me. Why is Wood Street is a state highway? Correct.
It is.
Why is it rougher than a Cobb? Or why are they not coming to Henry County and fixing this street? It's awful.
Because I ain't got Tater down there just yet.
Well, I mean, are they punishing you by saying we're holding back funds because Bruce made us mad? I've heard them rumors. Is that rumor true? You're on the record.
I don't think it is. Look,
You've heard it.
Well, I've heard it, but I don't think it is. I think the TDOT has a schedule for resurfacing roads, and I think it's either 7 or 14 years or whatever.
I lost a lunch bet on this. I told them it'll be done before fish fry because they always patch the road.
Well, they do that sometimes.
But you got to give the city or parish. They fix the roads. We got Dunlap's. They do a better job than our state does.
Well, and there may be some division of some of the laborers who's going to repair the stuff in the city versus the state. Now,
Well,
I know
that's
the
a state
state
highway.
Right back to politics, huh?
You're right.
It's a state highway.
You're right, but the state has got a schedule that they try to put all the roads on as far
Sure.
as resurfacing.
I understand.
So that's my understanding why that, and whether it needs repaving sooner or not, that may come up, but then they have to work it into their budget. And so
Are you
forth.
on
So-
them? Have you told them that, hey, look, my district, the roads are going to hell?
Well, I haven't had a lot of complaints about the roads yet.
I'm complaining.
Okay, well, I'll pass that along.
Tell them
But-
that the Mike Weatherford show complained because it makes me spill my sweet tea.
Well, I'll find out what's going on with that.
Have you
one.
you drive it?
Yeah, Eastwood.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
terrible.
you get up there by the Church of Christ, you got to get
man.
in the middle.
I think it might be a demon or something.
And then I tell you what, when you got
Maybe we
the
don't need to stay.
12
Maybe
up
we
behind
need-
you, they don't like that when you try to go around
You
it.
know, you just said something there. It may not be the state problem. It may be we need to get Miss Terry up there.
I think it'll be more than just Miss Terry.
Well, that's the way that road right by that church. It's got to be a demon.
I'll check into it, get back with you on that.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
I'm just curious. You know,
No, I don't think that has anything to do with it.
I'm just telling you what I hear on the streets, Bruce, and you're clearing it up. And that's what this show is all about, bro.
No, I don't think it.
And I got another question I'm gonna carry you into here.
All
man.
right.
Constitutional carry law.
Okay.
Now we're all screaming and hollering. We got constitutional carry, and I'm telling them, no, we don't. Tell me, do you know? Are you familiar with this new bill in law?
Yes. So
Can you know?
give you the differences.
Yes, tell us
Absolutely.
what was passed and what makes it not a true constitutional carry law.
So the proponents of this version of constitutional carry, the governor and the folk, we all supported. Look, I supported this version because it gets us, 90 yards down the field or 95
So
yards
you
down
voted
the
for it?
field. I voted for it.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. So, but the difference between this and true constitutional
Sure,
carry,
that's what it is.
I think true constitutional carry is any legal adults entitled to carry a weapon can carry a weapon, whether it's a handgun or a firearm, okay, without having to get a license from the government to say you can carry this gun or whatever. That's true constitutional carry. What the governor's version, what we passed this time, was that if you're 21 or older, and it can only be handguns, and then but if you're in the military or something like that, there's an exception for that. So that's really the big differences between the two versions. So I voted for this, and actually I've got the true constitutional carry bill. I parked mine this time to try to give the governor a chance to get his version through, and instead of trying to work with people and that kind of stuff.
Well, that's what
so So I've still got my version, and I'm probably going to pursue it again this next January.
What's some of the bills that you, Bruce Griffey, have sponsored, co-sponsored, or run through that you're proud of?
I've got true constitutional carries one. I've got a bill that would impose a fee on foreign money transfers. The state of Tennessee, on an annual basis, I think these numbers are from 2019, which is the most
That's not
recent we
pertaining
got.
to you, Billy.
If you're
Matter of
illegal,
fact, it is.
If
Okay.
if you're a legal U.S. citizen, it wouldn't apply to you. If you're a legal taxpayer, it wouldn't apply to you. It only applies to people that can't produce a Social Security number or a taxpayer identification number by the IRS. Even people that are here illegally in the United States can get a taxpayer ID number from the IRS.
So basically
they
what-
can get into the system, which means they're paying
So
taxes.
what you're
and all
trying to
that.
do is some of that money that's been sucked out of America and sent.
$15 billion
You're trying to get
annually.
a cut of it.
Right. I'm trying, and because I want to tighten up as much restrictions as I can on people that are here illegally. I want to benefit the legal taxpayers. They're the ones that need the breaks, not the illegals.
That's true, and that's probably a good bill. I haven't read the nuts and bolts of it, but what you're saying makes sense. They're coming here illegally. That's the key word, illegally. They're working illegally, probably, and then they're mailing that money.
They're getting money from someplace.
Yeah, and they're making and they're Western Union that money back to wherever,
Honduras or wherever,
and it's leaving it's coming out of
gone from the state of Tennessee forever.
It's
You know,
gone from
most
the
of the
country.
time when you get a paycheck,
circulation. It's not in circulation.
exactly. Where do you go spend your money?
Well,
everywhere around town,
Well,
right?
light bills, grocery bills.
Right. So,
understand.
but they're taking that money and sending it all overseas. So I think
So that
oughta-
money is coming at $15 billion in Tennessee. Is that
A
national?
year.
a year in Tennessee. Yeah.
15. But God, that'd fix this road out
That's
here. I'm
just
bitching
one
about.
state. That's not through the nation.
Yeah, that would fix Wood Street.
That's right. It would.
That would fix Wood Street.
It would.
I believe it
15
would.
Yeah, 15.
It would.
Maybe.
It would.
It might.
We'll have to get with Tater on that. See
Yeah,
if,
we'll have to get
if
the
he could do it
prices.
for just
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
So
what
I
it'd be.
had a bill that says that the state of Tennessee is going to refuse refugees in accordance with President Trump's
Amen.
executive order that he did. Bill ignored it and sent a letter to President Trump, said we will accept refugees.
Okay, why would we accept them?
You'll have to ask him.
Well, he's going to follow you tonight.
Okay.
No, I wish he would.
You'll have to ask him. I had an animal abuse bill that I've tried to increase
I
the
like that.
penalties. Look, there's some guy that had 150 cows that starved to death, and he shot a bunch. But look, if you've got one case of a dog that you haven't taken care of and abused or whatever, that's one thing. But if you've got 10, 20 or something like that, that's a big problem. So I tried to increase the penalties for those and make it a felony if you increase if it's more than 10 dogs or it's companion animals, not livestock. So to try to address that problem.
That's probably a good one.
We passed the election integrity bill that adds a watermark security feature to all the absentee ballots in Tennessee. We didn't have that before, but we passed that. So
Hold
add
that thought. It is why are there people, and I'm not being party affiliated here because I know it's on both sides of it. When I'm 58, same age you are. Mm-hmm. When I buy a pack of cigarettes, they ask me for ID. If I buy beer, I got to show ID. But when
Rent a movie.
Yeah, rent a movie. Everything.
Get on an airplane.
Everything I do. But how come people, and I want your version, are they so against showing ID to vote? The most important thing in this country to vote.
Amen.
And they don't want IDs. Why?
Why do you think?
That's what
It's
I'm
a
asking.
scam.
It's easier
It's a
to cheat
scam.
that way.
It's easier to cheat if you don't have voter ID. It's all about scamming so the liberals and the Dems can cheat. That's what it's
It's
about.
all about cheating.
I think so.
Well, I mean, it'd have to be something that order.
Why wouldn't you? Everybody else in the nation can get an ID.
That's
Everybody
right.
can get an ID.
Yeah.
If you're bedridden, in a nursing home, that's
Yeah.
one thing. The election administrator knows who you are, knows your situation. They actually send people out there to get them to help them vote and stuff like that. So
that goes back to when we first started. Why haven't the Republicans united and got this passed? We are in Tennessee. Is it a federal? But right now the federal law.
Tennessee's got voter ID.
Oh, right, we do. Okay.
Yeah.
They leave it up to each state, the federal government, and right now they're trying to pass a law where the federal government takes over voting.
Right.
You've heard of all that.
Right.
Yes.
They're going to be in trouble if that
I'm
happens.
not going in there. But right now each state sets their own voting laws. Tennessee, you got to show ID to vote.
Yes.
Why are the other states, it's got some Republican leaders, why are they not pushing it?
They're getting money.
I think Billy. I'd have to go with Billy's answer on that one. I'm gonna take Billy Busey's answer.
I'm not a politician. I can say that.
I'm not a politician either. And I'm trying to ask questions that people want. I've got my opinion, and you'll probably hear them in a minute. I've got a bill that I want you to pass.
What's that?
It's called the Quit Mowing Your Grass in the Damn Road Bill. What has happened? Can you get that fixed? Have you drove around and seen in the last 3 or 4 years how people is mowing and throwing their grass in? Now listen.
Well, it's actually killed people on motorcycles.
Well,
That's dangerous.
not only on that, and not only is it tacky and it's inconsiderate to others, it ain't just grass they're mowing in the yard. They're mowing out. A road has got a crown in it, and there's nails, there's glass, there's everything, and it migrates its way off the shoulder of the road. You understand? It gets off the road, and then here comes a guy on a mower, and he blows it right back on the road. Have you noticed the grass growing in the highways nowadays?
I've seen some.
Yeah, that's because of that. Why in the hell are we not doing anything about it?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you want the state of Tennessee, those guys in Nashville, coming up with that law? Or would you rather maybe your local county commission who you can talk to and knows about which roads are worse, let them make that law?
Make it a county law. Make it a state law. Well, you shouldn't have to make it a law. Why don't we start a program, the Tennessee...
Have you talked to Richie Chilcutt about that? He's our road supervisor.
Well, he's not doing it.
Well,
I got a
you
few
need to
things
talk to
I
him.
wanna talk to him about.
It may already be illegal to do that.
Well,
you know?
what I hear through my social media is not.
I don't know.
Say,
I haven't looked at that law before.
Look at that.
Or look into it.
But,
I'll look into it, though.
Yeah, but
be happy to look into it.
You understand what I'm saying? That's just a pet peeve that my daddy would whoop my hind end if he caught me doing that. What would Walter Griffey do to you?
He'd probably do the same.
There you
That
go.
shows where morals have gone in this country.
What about Mr. Busey?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my daddy would say, son, you're going to sweep that out of that road. That looks awful. You know, that's just a pet peeve that I personally have. You don't want me making laws because there'd be a lot of laws like that. You know, and moving right along, I want to talk to you about something else. The 641 project.
Good.
That's
I'm
what
glad
we
you
call
brought that up.
Oh, let me
I'd
ask you.
love to set the record straight on that.
Oh.
If people don't already know.
Well, there's rumors and there's half truth and all. We got a road that we're building from Paris to Murray, Kentucky, and it's been talked about since you and I was boys born.
Well, the gas tax is going to pay for that 4-lane up there, isn't it? I mean, that's what we were all told.
That was a rumor.
Well,
that's what they were told when they had the big ribbon cutting up there, or when they started the 4-lane from here.
We ain't got that far yet. Let's back up. You're getting ahead of me. Okay, why in the hell would we start a road? And now, what I'm hearing rumors, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 4-lane. How long is this new road?
Well, where are you talking about? Because
right now, what they're building now is about 3 miles.
Well, they've got it split up into 3 components.
Okay, so that 20 mile road, how far is it? 22 mile, maybe?
Something like that. Yeah.
Just say 20 for argument's sake.
Right.
Broke up in 3.
Okay, the first part is from downtown square out to about where they're going to finish the first phase.
Right.
And then the second phase is from there, I think, out past 218. I think it calls.
Have we got any
Smith Road.
funding for the second phase?
Yeah, there's funding for that, but I don't think and that will be 5-lane, is my understanding. But once you get past 218, the funding is for an improved 2-lane road.
So
that's in the law for the gas tax when Mr. Wergo was in there.
Well, hold on a minute, Mr. Griffey, our rep. We were sold and told that it was a 4-lane highway, so it's not a 4-lane.
Nope.
It's a 5.
No.
And 3.
Nope. It's not either.
It's a souped up 2-lane.
I was under the impression it was a 4-lane as well. That was the whole reason for the gas tax.
So why are we spending millions of dollars to put a 4-lane to Murray, Kentucky? It's a double-edged sword. Yes, people can come out of Murray to Paris faster, but they can go to Murray faster. So it's going to be an interstate, right? You know, it's going to be moving commerce.
Well, it's not going to happen right now.
No, what I'm saying, I understand that, but my point is this: why are we spending all this money for a glorified 2-lane?
Well, I think that's a waste of money for that.
That's what I'm saying. Why not do what they told us? Murray, Kentucky has started their project.
Absolutely, they got a build grant when Mitch McConnell was the majority leader in the Senate, and Elaine Chao was his Secretary of Transportation.
So we're going to come out of Kentucky. We're going to be bucking down a 4-lane highway. You know, we're going to be tooling along in our 57, and listening to some music on a 4-lane highway.
You're going to hit the state line. It's going to go down to a 2-lane
road.
Yep.
Well, with it being a Tennessee road, it'll still be just as wide as a Murray's 4-lane.
You got a point there.
So let me make sure I'm clear on this. So I was under the impression, I think everybody's under the impression, you don't have to believe me. Ask Carlton Gerald, ask Mayor Brent Greer what happened on this. We were all told that the gas tax was going to pay for a 4-lane from Paris to Murray. Okay. They did it as part, and they call it the Improve Act. So the actual language in the Improve Act doesn't specify it's going to be a 4-lane. All it says is an improved 2-lane. So I went, after we found out about this, Mayor Carlton Gerald and Brent Greer and I went up and met with...
Carlton is the city mayor.
Yes.
Brent Greer is the county mayor.
Yes.
Okay, I want to clarify
And
that.
we met with the commissioner for TDOT, Clay Bright, about this, and his chief engineer, Paul Deggs. And Paul Deggs, nope, it never was a part of the Improve Act. It's just going to be an improved 2-lane. Y'all don't have the traffic counts for that. So I said, well, how much money are we talking about for us to get a 4-lane or a 5-lane versus this 2-lane? How much more money are you talking about what y'all have already committed? And he said about $25 million. So they have committed.
$1 million a mile.
Yeah, pretty much. So they've committed they're going to buy the right-of-way for 4-lane or 5-lane from here. But they were going to do it in phases. So first it'll be a 2-lane, and then down the road they'll come back. You know how long we've been waiting for the 4-lane improvement from Paris to Camden? Down the road, they're going to improve it.
Well, we've been waiting
ever since you and I were this high here in Paris.
That's right.
So what happened was when this was going on, the county mayor and the state rep in Kentucky got with Mitch McConnell, Lane Chow, and they got $25 million from the federal government to do the build grant from Murray, 4-lane it all the way down the state line. So when we ran into this problem with the state TDOT, we decided the best thing for us to do is try to go get a bill grant too, see if we can get the extra money from the feds to do it, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to have a 4-lane just dead into a 2-lane right there at the state line. So that's what we're working on. We're working on the assessment plan. You got to show cost-benefit analysis. And we've got a lot of big plans for Paris as far as industrial recruitment development. We've got the colloid plant that's going to become available. So we've got a lot of plans, and we need that 4-lane. It makes all the difference in the world. And a 4-lane from I-24 above Murray down to Paris, it's a hot skip and a jump from Paris down to I-40. That's going to be the next leg of it. So that's what we got to all stay focused on and keep pushing.
So you think the improvement to the road was smart to do it south of the Court Square compared to doing it down the Camden Highway?
Well, 2020 hindsight, I think it'd be better if we could have tried to get the 4-lane started from the state line and brought it on down. We're going to run into a problem because you bring the 4-lane or 5-lane into downtown Paris, and we're back down to a 2-lane right to Court Square.
So what you're telling me is we was told from the state of Tennessee or someone, I'm not going, if you want to tell us who told us, I don't really recall. We tooted the horn, we 4-laned it to Murray. And that wasn't true. We was never.
I wasn't the state rep then.
Okay.
So you'll have to ask that person. But I was told, and Mayor Greer told me, and Mayor Carlton Gerald told me, we're supposed to get a 4-lane. We're supposed to get a 5-lane. I says, that's what I understood. So I get up there and go, nope, you guys aren't just going to get an improved 2-lane road. Maybe down the road in the future we'll get you a 4-lane or 5-lane.
So why they even started?
Good. Well, there was funding for the Improve Act, and so I don't know whether the discussion was with the mayors or the county mayors to start and do the first leg and build out to 218 or not. I wasn't involved with those discussions, so
Okay.
can't answer that for you.
I want you to hold that thought.
Sure.
We're going to take a break. We got to pay the bills.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back, folks. Hang tight.
This presentation of the Mike Weatherford Show is being brought to you by
Paris Power Sports, a bad boy and skag mower dealer and service center that is the area's leading power sports company since 2016. Mow with an attitude and power on.
Napa Auto and Truck Parts. With over 95 years of experience, you can trust the Napa know-how.
Take Me Back Cafe, delicious home-cooked family-style meals in a nostalgic, warm, and inviting atmosphere. Take Me Back Cafe, great for the entire family.
And the attorneys at Hawley & McAdams, who with over 90 years of combined experience, pride themselves in competent, thorough representation, utilizing their vast experience in a broad array of practice areas. Voted favorite law firm in the 14th Annual Reader's Choice Award, Hawley & McAdams are proud and honored to serve you.
Welcome back to the Mike Weatherford Show. We're here with our 75th District Representative, Bruce Griffey. Welcome back, Bruce.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thank you,
Appreciate
Billy.
you being here, man. I appreciate you hanging out like a hair on a biscuit.
Hanging on like a hubcap.
That's right. Speaking of hubcaps,
Yeah.
what do you got to tell us about hubcaps?
I ain't got nothing to say about hubcaps. They gone to rims now. They ain't hardly got no hubcaps.
Remember them baby? Y'all remember them Baby Moon hubcaps? Am I the oldest one here? No, Bruce, you remember Baby Moon?
You and I are the same age. Yeah.
They are cool, man. You
Y'all
got
the same age?
Yes, went to school together,
Boy,
1981.
you did have a rough life.
We had schools back then. Bruce used to take up for me. Yeah, he was my lawyer back then. When I'd get expelled from school, he'd be the one to take me to and get me unexpelled.
Okay.
We've been talking about, we've covered quite a bit in this short period of time. I think it's been a short period of time. We've talked about the 641 project. We've talked about you being a maverick, how you went to Nashville and you didn't knock on the door. You just kicked it like a bucking mule in a china shop. And you said you would never, ever change the way you done it.
Nope.
And you've talked about some bills that you sponsored and co-sponsored that you're proud of. And I think there's a few more that you've done that you're proud of. Let's recap what you're proud of.
Let me share with you. This is a controversial bill, at least in some folks, and it's controversial up there in Nashville. You know, we banned that critical race theory in our public schools this past
Amen.
session. John Reagan, a good friend of mine, pushed that, and we had discussions about that. And he said he would run it in his bill. I was going to run it in this bill, but I left it out because I didn't want to cloud it up. I've got a bill that would essentially ban all sex orientation topics, all that kind of stuff out of our public schools unless it's teen pregnancy prevention, sexual disease transmission, or it's part of the health curriculum, you know, for boys and girls in high school. But you know, to me, there's sort of a social war, a cultural war going on in America these days, and we've got folks that want to push their theories and their beliefs and make everybody else agree to them. So I've got a bill that says, look, let's leave all this sexual orientation, gender stuff out of our public schools, unless it's teen pregnancy prevention, sexual disease prevention, transmission, or you know, it's part of the regular curriculum.
Common sense stuff.
Common sense stuff. So I've got that. You know, in Tennessee, another bill I kind of felt like a lot of constituents have asked me about. You know, some people are not happy with their politicians. Go figure that. So
I don't think nobody's happy. Can you make us happy?
I'm trying to do the best I can. I don't think you're ever going to please everybody, but I try to do the best I can. But here's the thing. If you get a real stinker, you know, do you want to be stuck with that person for 2 years, 4 years, or whatever, or a governor you don't like, something like that, or, you know, congressman, something.
Talking about recalling.
Recall. So I've got a bill that, you know, or maybe it's a mayor or a council, a county commission member, somebody like a school board person. Maybe I've got a bill that says, look, in Tennessee, let's have an ouster bill, a recall bill. So if you get 10% of signatures, everybody's mad and wants to get rid of this politician or that politician, let's have a recall vote. Let the citizens decide. I'm in favor of letting the citizens make the decision, have an impact on our policies. There's so much stuff going on, they can't do everything, but they ought to have the right to say have some input on some of the really big issues. And here's one of the big issues that I've probably been asked about this more than anything else. It's medical marijuana and decriminalized recreational marijuana. Personally, I'm not a fan or really necessarily in favor of this.
Billy, that's right up your alley. Go
I'm
ahead.
listening.
Well, look, but I think that
I'm all ears.
I think that the citizens of Tennessee ought to have the ability to vote on a ballot and tell the legislators, do we want to have medical marijuana in Tennessee? Do we want the legislature to legalize or decriminalize recreational marijuana? Let the citizens tell us what they want to do.
Is there not?
Mike's not going to believe this, but I was against marijuana use. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I think if you go back and you look at everybody that's done something wrong, all the people on that methamphetamine, crack, whatever it is, where'd they get started? Alcohol and marijuana.
Chasing that rabbit's what you're saying.
Cigarettes, alcohol, and marijuana.
Hey, now back off my cigarettes and alcohol.
Now here's what
That's
I
not in the
found
law.
out. There's so much more benefit, I believe, to marijuana because them farmers nowadays, they can take the bad stuff out, leave this good stuff. And if you've been to any of them dispensaries, depending on what's ailing you, they've got stuff for it. And ain't nobody going to OD.
Well, we
no
make that out there in Hico. That's called corn liquor. Oh, excuse me. I forgot we had a lawmaker here.
That ain't marijuana.
I've heard rumors they make it. I'm not saying.
Yeah,
Go
you better
ahead.
watch that.
Yeah, excuse me, Bill.
But yeah, it just
You don't need
There's
to worry
too much
about me. You need to
benefit.
worry about Josh Fry.
there's too much benefit to medical marijuana or the CBD or whatever.
I have to
used to
agree.
be against it.
I do
so
too.
now then, and one of the things that I found out, I didn't realize kids was having seizures, like hundreds of them a day, and I was kind of amazed at how that helped out them kids and saved their lives. And I seen a set of twins. One of them was going through seizures, hundreds of them a day, and how it affected her, and the other one come downstairs, which was somewhat, she was normal. She wasn't having the seizures. And she come down to her twin that was laying down there on the couch, and she was thanking God that she made it through the night. And the only reason, then they came back after following this little girl for like a year, and of all things, it was on CNN, that how it benefited her, her learning, and everything. So there's something to that.
Bruce, I believe that medical marijuana and all that is good. It can't be worse than the opiates problem we have. Right now, if you got an ailment, your father's a doctor. They'll write you a medicine. They'll write you a prescription. They give you pain. They'll give you opiate. The people don't want no pain. Everybody wants to be pain-free. And now we've got a whole society addicted on opiates. A large generations of them addicted to opiates. So you may be on the right track. If it works and it does a good job, I'm all for it. If you want to if you want to smoke a joint to relax, I'm all for it. I don't care. I don't look at it no different than I do a beer, whiskey. I mean, yeah, it's mind altering, so's beer and whiskey, but it's all legal. I think the problem is, in my opinion only, and other people in the community will say this to you, it's about the tax dollars.
Well, the problem that you got with alcohol and marijuana, when I do alcohol, sometimes I want to go 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
When I used to do marijuana, I would sit at the red light and wait for it to turn green.
Yeah, I understand.
So,
I understand, and I completely understand all that. But I think that the opiate problem we got in this country, are y'all looking at that?
Well, to me, Mike, part of the problem is we've tried to treat pain with the opioid medications, and
who pushed them?
The medical community, the pharmaceutical
company.
You go. There you go.
Are they behind this medical marijuana?
I don't know.
No, because they don't know how to tax it.
That's right. They can't tax it.
They can't figure out how to make money off of it. It's too easy for me and you to put a seed in the ground and do something with it.
Shh.
Well,
don't say that, Bill.
So,
they'll find out about it.
I'm not saying I'm in favor of it, because I'm just not convinced it's got the benefit. Now, it's a whole different ball of wax where you want to say, well, somebody ought to be allowed to smoke a joint without, worrying about getting charged with a crime or something like that. Look, that's an issue we ought to all decide as a society.
It should be decided by the people. Like placebo, they give you the pill, they give me the fake pill, and I say, hey, I feel better. You say, I feel better. Well, one of us is lying. When they do those studies, how can you say that this marijuana don't help this guy if he hits a pipe, if he's got cancer, or he's got bad arthritis, and Billy talks about maybe he's got a seizure or something like that. How can we, you or anybody, say that's not beneficial? Because placebo, you know what that is? Well, they give you trials.
Right.
They give one person a sugar pill, and they give one person a real drug, and they both say, I feel better.
Right.
So it could be in your mind. So is marijuana better on a person's body than opiates? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I think that once the state, and I'm proud of what you're doing about that, I think you are, but I think once they realize the taxes they can make off of it, maybe they'll fix our roads with it.
That'd be a good thing. They do need to do that.
Yeah,
Tennessee used to have some of the best roads in the nation back when Ned Ray McWhorter
sure did. Everybody bragged. Go to Arkansas.
We spent money on our roads back then. We spent a lot of money on our roads.
Why are we not?
Well, I personally think
they are in the eastern part of the state.
I personally think that they starved the transportation budget, so there would become a need we'd have bad roads, and then everybody start complaining, so it would generate support for the gas tax. That's my personal
okay. You harped on the gas tax.
The gas tax.
So you didn't agree with the gas tax?
No.
Okay. It hasn't been raised since it's put on us. It's been the same since how long?
Was it 2004? 16, I believe, is when I think they 16 or
Right,
when they voted for the gas tax.
Right, but it's been, how long has it been the same rate?
Well, it went in, it graduated so many cents the first year. Then
No, I'm talking about in the original, when they first put a gas tax, 80s, it was the last time it was raised. But, you know, in your defense, you're not wanting a gas tax. And in your defense, there is more people driving. Right now, you go out to Henry County High School, and you and I went, there wasn't that many cars. Now, nobody hardly rides the bus. It's all, everybody's got their own car. And in your house, I know there's 3 or 4 cars at your house. There's 2 or 3 at my house. Billy's 2 or 3, and everyone I know. So there's probably, with better gas mileage vehicles getting, I think we're offsetting that by the amount of vehicles on the road. So I can see where you're coming from. But there again, the cost of building roads is going up. And you know what I believe? This is just old Mike telling you. Because the state and the federal government, every time we try to build a road, they want to get in there and come up with some kind of study. We got to do this. We can't put that there. We got to do this. It's bull. I mean, I don't want to pour the oil on the ground. I'm not saying that. And don't even think I'm saying that. I am an environmentalist. I do. I believe in getting away with plastic bags. I hate to go to the lake and fish and pull out a plastic bag.
Yep.
Over at my pond, my hunting farm, walk over and there's a plastic bottle.
Right.
Hey, call that liberal if you want to, but I agree with that.
How many masts do you see out there in the lake now?
It's pitiful. It's everywhere. But you're right. But what I'm saying is we got, something's got to be done.
Well, 2 things I would comment about this with the gas tax. The federal government took the federal tax dollars, and then they sort of started going, we need bike trails, nature trails, walking trails. So they took part of the federal gas tax money, and they're kind of, instead of putting asphalt on the road, they're doing all these special projects,
And whose fault is
greenways.
that?
Well, that's people up here in Congress that vote
That's
on that.
right. So
administration.
We elected them.
Well, I know.
It seems like we, and when I say we, I'm
We
talking about.
supposedly elected them.
Well, okay, I'll give you that. But the point I'm getting at is we elected these people, and it's a popularity contest.
Well, and here's the other thing: we're running like $100 million excess over budgeted per month in the state of Tennessee, even through COVID. I believe January we were $134 million over what we'd budgeted that we thought we would collect for the month. So we've got a lot of money in the state of Tennessee. We're soaking money into the rainy day fund. Look, I get that, but you know, to me, government functions are down to some basic things: safety, security of the community, roads and transportation.
It's all
and
about
schools.
safety.
Schools.
Every time they want to put something through us, they holler, it's for safety, it's for schools.
Let's bubble wrap everything, make everybody safe.
And this is just me saying it, and I may step on some toes, and that's okay. If you holler for the children or for safety, you'll get the support.
If what?
If you holler it's for safety or it's for the children, they sort of shut you down from arguing against it. Oh, he's not for safety. I mean, in my opinion, we need to take some of the warning labels off. This gene pool in America needs some damn help.
Yeah.
It needs some help. Let's pull some warning labels
Amen
off.
to that.
I mean, come on now. Why have you read some of the warning labels?
Yes.
I mean, Jesus.
I've seen some of them on
Oh,
Facebook
my
or whatever.
God.
They're
No, I've
hilarious.
seen them in person working on an automobile.
Hysterical.
Don't stick your tongue to a hot manifold on a car. I mean, who in the hell would do that?
Y'all get that in the shop.
Yeah, I want to know who's
hot muffler.
Listen to this. On a bottle of medicine, it says take 2 pills by mouth. How else do you take a pill? Who was the first person?
Let's not go that direction.
Well, no, I'm going that direction.
We're not in California.
I mean,
We're in
what
Tennessee
in the hell
now.
happened to cause them to have to take 2 tablets by mouth? Who in the hell don't know how to take a pill?
Well, they got Tennessee pills
That's
and they
the
got
ones that they can
California
pull-
pills, like they got California hamburgers.
What do? Stick them up your nose or other orifices? I mean, come on. Where in the hell did this start? What happened?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you've been preaching. I'm going to do a little preaching too here. I mean, what in the hell happened to this country? When you got to have warning labels, how to take a damn pill.
I hear you.
I mean, I am disappointed.
Boy,
in where we're
you
at.
opened the door on that one. What happened in this country? I'm going to tell you what happened in this country.
What?
We got grandparents and other folks raising these children.
That's
Their
a
parents
whole
ain't even doing
nother
it at all.
subject.
That's right.
But I still ain't figured out the bottle of medicine.
Well,
and the pills. We're gonna move on.
I'm
that.
surprised you
tell
take any of that. You can take that rheumatism medicine like
I mean, somebody
Granny
went to
did,
the
you know?
doctor. Evidently, I'm gonna go back one more time. I'm gonna let Bruce do it. Somebody must have went to the doctor. Maybe in Dr. Griffey, maybe in your father, and he said, "Here, take one of these pills twice a day, and come back and see me in a week." So they went and took them twice a day, and they come back and said, "How you feel?" I said, "Man, I don't feel worth a damn, but my nose is so sore from them pills." That had to be what happened to make them have to put a label on it.
Probably.
Let's get off that subject. So you got some pretty good bills.
Thanks.
But I want to ask you this question right
Sure.
here. When was the last thing that the state of Tennessee has done to help the average Mikes and Billies out there? Everything is done for a group, a block of votes, or it's done for public safety, or it's done from some kind of bull. When was the last thing?
Yeah, BLM. Billy's Life Matters.
That's right. When the last thing that the state of Tennessee has done to help the average working man like myself that starts every morning and works all day in the heat and all, and I get taxed, I get called names when I complain. When is the last thing that you can remember that's going to help Mike and Billy and even you?
Well, I'm going to push back just a little bit, but I get your point, and
Right.
we need to stop legislating for groups and specifics and liberal causes and so forth. But, you know, look.
Some of it's
the
conservative
state,
causes.
I will say this. We passed some pretty responsible legislation this past go-round. I didn't like all of it, but a lot of it was good. And Tennessee has done a great job managing our budgets and so forth. We really have. We've been smart about that.
So we got money in the bank.
We've got money in the bank. I think it's up to $1.5 billion saved up
Well,
for
you
rainy
know,
day. I mean, you need that because
Sure you
Tennessee's
do.
a non-income tax state. We live off our
I run
sales
a
tax.
business.
So
I run a business. You got to have money in
if
the
we
bank.
have a downturn in the economy,
I
and think what's
understand.
been happening with Joe Biden and the trillions they're planning on spending in inflation. They already say they're predicting inflation is
already
at
up.
12%.
It's already there.
Yes.
Have
That
you tried to order stuff?
Think what happens if we have another, 2008, catastrophe with the markets, with the home mortgage deal, something like that. Yeah. I mean, the whole economy could implode, and I'm really concerned about that with the current administration we got in, some of the irresponsible money they're spending. I'm just praying every day we need President Trump back in there as soon as we can get him back in there.
I have to agree, but that's a different subject. I may have the Don sitting right there, asking him some questions.
I hope you do. If you do, I hope you'll let me come sit and watch.
I'll let you run one of the cameras out
There
there.
you go.
Won't
There's
stick out?
somebody else
I'll do
with
it.
a live
I'll
show.
work for free if it's Don Jr.
Everywhere you look, there's a camera. You notice that?
Yeah.
So I'll just pick you one.
All right.
But it is. It's there. There's a lot of stuff that's crazy, and I do agree. Y'all done some good things, but we need some fluffing. The working man, we need a bone too. We've helped the unemployed. We've helped everybody else out there.
Let me ask you this: do you want us to repeal the gas tax? Do you ask
I
all
don't
your
know.
other viewers and ask people
what is the tax right now on a gallon of gas, federal and state? Do you know?
Lord,
Too
I
damn
couldn't
much.
tell you off the top
Well, how
of
do
my
we
head.
know?
but-
How do we know? What
Well,
is
you
it?
can look it up. You can
It was
look it. You
like
can
90.
Google it. You can Google it.
That's
Find
okay.
it.
So
90.
what should it be? How much percent would you want to take off?
Well, I don't know. Look, I work for you guys. I work for you guys or the public, the people. So
glad to
that's
hear
why
you
I'm
say
asking
that,
you,
Bruce.
what do y'all want to do?
Well,
So-
glad
asking
to hear
me
you
a
say
question
that.
like that, do you want me to take a tax off? Yes, I will go on the record, yes. But there again, I run a business, and I know you can only cut your prices so low before you start getting into trouble. Now, is the tax too high to do what needs to be done in the state of Tennessee? And if it is too high, yes, peel it back. But if it's not enough tax to do what needs to be done, there's two things going on, Bruce. We've either don't have enough tax or the damn cost is too high. There's one or two. When was the last time that anything that's got bidded on that the government, say out of $1 bid, how much of that is because of government bureaucrat bullcrap? We can't do this. We got to do this. That makes that dollar. You might do it for 50 cents. If the government wasn't involved, And I'm talking
I
about
hear you.
state and federal.
All the regulations.
There
and
you
all
go.
That,
You add that into that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a huge cost.
It's a very and I'm
You
going
see
to
that in the military is
And
ridiculous.
our next guest is going to be someone that builds roads. He can probably tell me that what it costs extra to do all this bull crap. And answer your question. And I appreciate you asking me, because there's a lot of people out there probably won't know this. But yeah, I would appeal the tax if I could, but I want to make sure that we don't need it, and I also want to make sure it's been spent wisely. I don't want to see $175 hammers. I don't want to see all that bull crap and holler I need more money, but let's give them what the tools it takes to do the job.
Well, let me say this. The gas tax, the increase, the Improve Act, those dollars are designated for those programs that are listed in the Act. And there's a lot of bridge repaint. We've done some bridges here in Henry County.
That's
that
right.
Part of that. So that money is supposed to be going for good purposes, actually building something on the ground. And I agree with that. I just kind of wonder if we're not starving one budget and putting money, playing sort of the shell game.
But you can't
up there.
prove to me, but driving down Wood Street, that any of that money is put on anything.
Well, and so that's what I have a same
there's other roads.
concern and problem that you do.
I mean,
that
the
you bring
Highway
up.
69 that I live on, I live out and where God would live when he comes back, it's called Hico. That's where I live at. It's God's country out
Right.
there. And I did tell you that I hate to wonder, but that's just the way I am. I think it's too much exhaust fumes. when we talked to that lady about UFOs, she talks to God. And she said, Mike, I talked to him about you. He said, you're in good shape, but Bruce is in trouble.
Billy, you and me gonna have to work at it. I think.
Well, I do that every day. That's why he says,
I pray to him
study,
every day, too.
Study daily
Let me
and
take that
pray
back.
without cease.
I pray to him.
I
every
got
day,
two
too,
questions
so-
I want to ask you before you leave.
Sure.
He's not going nowhere. The door's locked.
I got what about the riots? Didn't y'all do something to kind of...
We did. We increased the penalties on the rioters that in Tennessee. They were all camped out up there and tearing stuff up and burning stuff down and all that. As soon as we passed the law that increased the penalties made a felony, so if they got arrested and convicted, they'd lose their right to vote. They were gone the next
Did
day.
you,
gone the next day.
Did you...
That and see,
For the-
that's my whole point.
For the
that we-
troublemakers that come out of the other states, did y'all increase a little bit on that
There
too?
are. I believe we did.
What about the police budget? Are y'all going to make sure that the highway patrol and all the state grants go to our police departments that really, really need it?
Oh, absolutely. And I think we actually.
We're not cutting budget there.
I believe we added 20 new state troopers in this budget.
Okay.
So-
Okay. So they're going to be more seatbelt tickets.
Well, there'll be. Look, I'm
That's a
telling
joke.
you. I
That's a
know.
joke.
But I work with a bunch of these state troopers and stuff. Man,
They're
they're
all
great
good.
guys.
They're my friends.
Oh, I just.
I
love
do. I do. The
They've
breadth of-
been in so many accidents and stuff, and try to prevent accidents and stuff. So
They do, but I think that this is my personal opinion. Seatbelts should be an individual's right. It's not affecting because
I can't disagree with that.
I don't like to be told to do anything. That's why I tend to break laws, because they made it against the law.
So when you raced cars all that time, you didn't put on no seatbelt?
Yeah, but I was running 282 mile an hour.
You don't
And
think it's all related to the fumes you've been breathing? Or,
probably like, but I think it's from that Sire Mash smell that I get. Did I say that?
Yeah. Again. I got one other question.
all right.
Here he goes.
All right. What about sex trafficking? I've noticed that
Oh, no. This is a PG.
where
Are you in favor of
national-
it or something?
Well,
Or what are you asking?
Something's gonna need to be done about
Are
that,
you trying
because
to
I think that
you trying to get somebody sex traffic you or something?
no. I do that.
No, the aliens.
I do that for free. But sex trafficking, I believe, is a huge issue that a lot of people don't know is out there, and a lot of people just turn a blind eye to it.
Somebody sent me a text. I'm not going to tell who, but they heard the rumor there's a sex trafficking going up and down the river at night now.
What in the hell are they doing? Have you ever been approached?
Transporting women for
Women,
sex,
okay.
paid sex.
So Billy better watch him dresses.
And it's not just women; it can kids and other stuff. And there's some sick,
There is
people
sick
out there.
people out there. You're exactly
Big
right.
time.
Well,
We increased the penalties on sex
You said
trafficking,
something a while
too.
ago that and that I'm proud you did about the animal rights and stuff. But it seems like we're more worried sometimes, and I don't mean this against you, but the public is more worried about dogs than they are children sometimes.
Well, some people may feel that way, but there's been studies that indicate that people who are abusive to animals,
They are abusive to people.
abusive to people.
I've always, I've told my
all
girlfriend,
every serial killer
My
in
dad-
history was pretty much an animal
my dad
abuser.
told me that when I was a child, he said, because back when I was a child, there was a lot of farming, a lot of farm animals. He said, how a man treats his animals is how he'll treat you.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
told Dana, my girlfriend, the same thing. I said, watch people. How they treat their animals is how they'll treat people. And you know, that's true.
You know, look, Mike, I've been in legal profession for 30 years now and so forth, and you know, there's a human compassion gene, I think, that most all of us have.
You're
and
right.
it seems like that a lot of folks that are constantly in jail and committing crimes and stuff, they lack that ability to have empathy and care for other people besides themselves. And those are the ones that I feel like you typically see more of in the criminal justice system than anything else.
Your opponents on the Democrat side says the reason why there's so many lawbreakers is because there's a law against it. Do away with the law.
Well,
Have you not heard that?
well, so
Is that Billy? You
so
heard
it's-
that? They
I
say,
have.
So
yeah,
do
they'll
it-
say,
so do it.
that's against the law. Yeah, but it shouldn't even be a law to be against.
So
if
they
you
just
done away-
allow people to start beating people up
There you
or sex
go.
traffic them and
That's
do
what
all
they-
that. and
That's what I guess. I can't understand it. Can you?
they're crazy. They're absolutely insane.
Well,
So,
there's a lot of that out there too.
There is
But
insanity.
about your bills, have you pretty well got anything else that you're thinking about?
well, I think I've covered most of them. The ouster bill, the recall bill. You know, put it on a ballot measure for to allow.
So what you're telling me, and you're telling the millions of people worldwide that's hearing you right now, you're telling them that you're working for them.
Absolutely,
You're telling them that
they're my boss.
that you don't have.
You're my boss. All of y'all here are my
even if they
boss.
didn't vote for you, even if they don't like you, you're still doing what you think is best for them.
Contact me at my office, rep.bruce, B-R-U-C-E, .griffey, Griffey, at capital, CAPITOL, .tn.gov. If you got an idea or a problem with the
Well, no
state or
wonder
something
you
I
don't
can help
get-
with, send me an email, and my assistant Charlie Cooper helps me keep up with that.
No
We'll try
wonder
to
you
get
don't
back
get
with
no
you.
mail. Who in the hell can remember that address? Did you get all that, Billy?
It's a long one.
It spells. It actually spells out words there, Mike.
What did it say?
Something capital.
That's what I thought. He don't have a clue.
Well,
Why
it's
don't you
his
just
name.
say-
And I heard .org ain't no good anyway.
No, I don't like .org. That don't sound right. Anything else that you want to tell people, that even the people that's with the rumors going around that you know this and that and what you may have done or may not have done, what is your plans in the future? Where I know that you're not going to stay as a state rep. Another question: did you do it for the money? What does this job pay? I mean, I want to been asking you that for a long time. How much are we paying you?
It's about $26.5, I believe, and per diem for every time you go up there. So,
Okay, so what's that make that your?
well, it depends. When you're in session, you're up there a lot, but you know.
What'd you make last year from the state?
I honestly don't remember. I'd have to go get that W2.
Do you get
and
free
look at
haircut?
it. No.
Do you get your toenails did? Do they do your hairdos?
No.
And so you don't get none of that stuff for free. That's just if you get in the Senate. So they got them railroad tracks that carries you up there to them barbershops when you get up there in Washington. Y'all don't have an underground railroad with barbershops?
We've got a tunnel that's it seems like it's half a football field. We got to walk up and down. So
You ain't got nothing to get. So you're not into it for the money. And
no.
evidently we discussed this earlier, you being a maverick. Is that insult you by calling you a maverick?
No.
Okay. Well, so you're not made a lot of friends, so you're not into one of the guys that's gonna get all the privy information that's gonna make you $1 million on the stock market, I don't believe.
No.
So you honestly telling me right here that you did this because you really care about us.
It's a service. And, you know, look, anybody that thinks about getting into politics, if you're not doing it for the service, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Well,
and
there's
I
a-
got in it because I care about people here in these
I believe he
districts.
does. I mean, after talking with you, I've known you, Bruce, and known of you, and have spoken with you and called you with my concerns. And I think you've told us tonight pretty
I
well.
appreciate that.
But if you leave here when you get done doing this and you're a millionaire, I'm coming after that ass. I'm coming after you because you lied to me.
I am going to leave office if and when I leave.
What is
I'll
your
leave
fee?
office a lot less money than before I went in.
At
so.
$30,000 a year, I don't know why you're doing it, because that's a lot of hell for $30,000. How much is that of cussing?
Well,
But about $10 of cussing, I tell you.
I would never put my family through that.
No.
this may not be popular, but we really need to change that because a lot of people don't want to serve because of the low pay.
It takes away
And
from your private job.
you're a businessman. Would
That's
you
right.
be able to give up your job and go
No.
up there and do that?
Not
But
per-
we ought to have people like Mike Weatherford and Billy Busey up there in Nashville. So,
Billy. Let's say it together, Bruce. One Representative
Billy Busey.
I'd be up there with a pair of Carhartts on.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you leave there with
Tim
something.
Burchett
I'd
wears
be
a bunch
ready.
of
He look good up
Carhartts.
there.
I'd be able to go up there and work, but
Would you wear
I
your flip? Would
almost-
you wear your flip flop?
yeah.
When
When it's summertime.
What Bruce? Me to ask you, what about Billy's hat? He's doing it for my birthday, which is July the 4th. Look at the hat he wore. He says for you, Mike. How you like that hat? It's
Perfect.
Look at that color of it: red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
We
He's
got red, white, and blue us.
Is this? We did not make this up.
Yeah.
Shoot here on Billy's red shirt. Shoot
Go Big
on-
Red.
Shoot on Bruce's white shirt, and shoot on me in my blue shirt. And this was all by chance. Red, white, and blue.
Did not discuss it at all.
Did
That's
not.
pretty
Are
awesome.
we not true-blooded
pretty
Americans? Bruce, anything else you want to say? What is your future plans?
Well, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing for now.
You got anything that you want to release just on the Mike Weatherford Show? Your plan. You don't have to.
How about
don't-
having me back later? Maybe I'll make an
I
announcement.
will have you back anytime you'll come in.
I'll be happy
Because
to
I'm
do
going to
that.
tell you, I hope that what our intentions was tonight was to ask some questions that I know I'm not going to make everybody happy, because they're going to say, Mike, you wasn't hard enough on him. Well, put yourself in my shoes.
Tell them to send you the questions in for your
Yeah.
next show, and I'll come back and I'll answer them.
All right.
So
That's
look,
why we're
I
going to
work
have
for
a
I work
breakfast
for
or
the
coffee
people.
with Mike.
Yeah, but
I work for the people. They're entitled to know what's going on.
My-
I'll be honest and straight up with them.
my
best I can.
intention and Billy's intention was to ask the questions that him and I, because we're out in the streets all the time. Bruce, you're in the courthouse, you're up in Nashville, and you're busy. You're a busy man. In your law practice, and you're a busy man in Nashville, you only hear what the emails and you only hear the squeaking wheel. We hear what the public talks about, and I've hit the high points on what's been going on. We've talked about the road, and you've told us it's not going to be a 4-lane as of right now. It's going to be a glorified, maybe a 3-lane.
Keep your fingers crossed. We're
Right.
trying to get.
Some money for the federal government. State of Tennessee's not
we're
going to pay.
working on a specific plan to do that and get the funding from the feds for that.
I'm going to say they should have never started without the money in place. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to throw it out there. To me, that's just not good planning. But, who am I? I'm not an elected official.
Well, I don't understand why they can't get the semi trucks in and out quicker than that. Looks like the quicker you get that semi to the interstate, that's where you need to go with it. I don't
that's
really
true,
quite
that's
understand
true.
why they.
It's a
put it on
double.
there.
It's a double-edged sword. We're
And
wondering.
then you got that dadgum red light right there on 218.
Are y'all
going
going to fill this damn road full of school zones, stop signs, and red lights?
What are you talking about?
Well, every time they build a road and improve it, they put a stop sign, they put a red light, or a darn school right in the middle of it. That slow you down. Is the roads to move traffic, right?
Absolutely.
Why do we put stop signs, red lights,
That's because
and
the
school
gas
zones?
company's got lobbyists up there.
Well, you got traffic that's got to cross, so you
Well,
don't
put it
wanna-
on the side that's crossing. Don't stop the main thoroughway. Before long, with the way that they're thinking now, you'll have stop signs on the interstate. You can't go to Nashville without stopping at a damn red light on the interstate.
It'd be all right. They got roundabouts coming.
They do, yeah. And Billy, the way I'm hearing about it, those spaceships that we talked about earlier, you could get on one of them and make a quick trip to Nashville.
Well, here in a little bit, I'll be
Not
kind
on
of
a-
spacey already.
You're spaced out. Bruce, anything you want to close with? Anything that you want to announce? Anything you want to say? I'm going to let you go. You want to tell Billy and me, Mike, your humble host, with my humble partner over here, anything that you want to say that you don't feel like that I treated you fair, or you wish I'd asked you this, here is your chance.
No, I think, Mike, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a pleasure being here. You've answered some good questions. And again, if there's anything else out there, call me back. I'll be glad to answer
bet
any.
you-
I work for all you all. I'll answer any questions
So
y'all
we're
want to throw
going to
at
have
me,
you on
so-
record that you will come back.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
He'll be
Well,
back.
that's good, man.
He'll be
Well,
back.
Bruce, I want to appreciate you coming.
Thank you,
I really
guys.
do, to taking your time away from your family.
Yeah. Tell them we said hi. Tell them
we all said
Rebecca
hi. And I really appreciate you coming in. And I'm going to hold you to coming back again. And I hope
Love to.
that you leave here and the people that hears this have some answers.
This is gonna become a popular place pretty soon. I know it. I can tell.
Well, that's good.
Having you guys.
Well, we're not journalists and we're
Yeah.
not the media.
That's right.
We talk about UFOs.
We just
talk
looking
about
for answers.
we talk about politics.
There you go.
We're going to talk about religion. We're going to talk about history. There's a lot of things that
yeah.
we're going to talk.
Are we
But-
still gonna have who maybe?
Yeah, we can't announce it.
I know.
We can't announce it. Bruce, I want to appreciate you, brother.
Thank you,
And
guys.
I really
Appreciate you,
appreciate
Mike.
coming. I hope you feel
Appreciate
like
you, Billy.
Hope
Thank
you
you,
felt
sir.
welcome.
Thank you.
Hope you felt welcome.
I absolutely did. Thank
There
you.
you
Thank
go, folks. We have spent probably close to an hour and a half, I don't know how long, with our state rep, Bruce Griffey. He's had some questions asked to him that he's given some good answers. Billy, how do you want to end this? Just say bye or
Yeah,
what?
well, I want to tell Bruce anything I can do, let me know.
Oh, appreciate
and
that.
then I'll let you know what I think you can do for us.
I'm fixing to get the plug pulled on me. The producer's hard and cut it.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. See you on the next show.
Thank you, Mike.
Bye.
Thank you, Billy.
See you. Bye.